we can establish ourselves in the present moment and just relax to know that we are in the here and in the now. So, dear respected Thai, dear friends, first of all, welcome to Plum Village Center, Healing Spring Monastery. Today is the 19th of October in the year 2022, and we are in the weekend retreat in the Healing Spring Monastery in the English-speaking weekend retreat. So this morning we have a chance to spend time together. So we have been meditating this morning, and we have been practicing being mindful in the service meditation. And this moment we have a chance to explore a little bit in a form of exchanging, listening, sharing, discussing, so that we have a little bit more clarity in ourselves, in our practice. And this morning, I'm Brother Bao Tang. This morning I will sit with you to explore some topic together. Hopefully, through this session, we can learn something according to our need. I know that everyone comes with different needs, but anyway, we are trying to include every person, every need. So I will start from. I will try if there is. Yeah, I will start from questions maybe. Is there any things that we feel curious about? Is there any things that are very alive in us in the form of question? Is there anything that you are exploring right now that you want to have more input to contemplate as an addition for contemplation? Is there anything that you are searching that you would like to ask to the group? And then after that, I will see how can I address that. Yeah. If I have something that I will offer the response to that question. Otherwise, we will see. Yes.
I have a question, something that I've been processing recently, is that when we practice more, we find more suffering.
Okay.
So more challenges will come our way. The more we practice, the more things we abstain from.
Yes. So why it is like that? Or
Yes.
is it okay to be like that? But it's okay.
Is it a part of the process?
Yeah. Is practice more? Is it leading to in touch with more suffering? Is that question? Yeah.
And if so, why?
If so, why? Okay, so this is the first one. Is there any other question? You don't have to have question, but if there is, please share it out. So we don't need to make effort to think what question should I ask. Yes.
I have a question maybe related. It's more, I don't know if this is a question I ask here. In yoga, they often talk about different musical bodies, like the emotional and things like that. And I would like to know how it works. Like in daily life, what you have an emotional difficulty, is that related with some bodies, things like that. It's not totally clear, but it's alright. And related with trauma.
So we have in yoga, we have something different bodies.
Yeah, in yoga,
Yeah, and such as one of them is emotional body.
yeah, it's called.
And then how can we practice these?
My question is more to know in life, kind of trauma and things like that
Oh, okay.
can happen, like conflict, and how does it affect bodies and how to heal that?
Yeah, maybe how to, let's say how to heal such as trauma. Something like this?
Yes.
Yeah. Is there any other question?
I have a question.
Yes.
This year was quite difficult for me, and I start to realize more and more that I cannot manage my frustration. And so, if I encounter something that I don't like or a situation, then I get really, really stressed, and it's really difficult for me to stop that and to make it less. And that now results that I have a conflict with my wife, and I really need to. I really feel that I need to address this here.
So the question is how to handle when the stress level is high. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, so I get easily stressed.
Yeah.
And I need to calm down.
Okay, how to calm down?
More ease of mind. I
Yeah.
really need more ease of mind. And
Yeah.
I try to do it through meditation, of course.
Yeah.
But still, when something happens, then it's triggered and I cannot stop it.
Okay. So how can we have less get triggered by stress? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. How? Then I just write word, yeah? Less triggered. Less triggering stress. Is there a way for the stress to less get triggered when we have a situation? Yeah. Okay, I think these three is good. Yeah, you have another one?
Last one that is not as tragic as we cannot answer that, or if we do not want to answer that.
Yeah.
Also more metaphysical in nature, but in short, if there is a common understanding in this monastery on consciousness,
On consciousness, what is consciousness? Is also interesting.
Simple question.
Okay, good. So, dear friends, please allow me to just play with it. So, in life, it has been sometimes life can become very serious, and I think we need to learn how to take life seriously, but not too seriously in our daily life. And especially when it comes to meditation, we should not make it too serious about it and become stressful about meditation. So this is something that we need to be aware of, especially meditation. Meditation supposedly gives us well-being, and sometimes it can generate a lot of hardness inside because we think that we need to do the best, we need to be successful in the meditation, and we need to go somewhere in our meditation. And then we become very hard toward ourselves. So this is something that we need to pay attention to, because then the purpose of the meditation is not really like that anymore. It's not really for bringing us into the present moment and allow us to cultivate our well-being. So this is what we feel like meditation is to help us to calm ourselves, to feel more relaxed, to cultivate our well-being. And sometimes, I don't know how, there are many cases, what happens is we become more stressful and more suffering after we meditate. Yeah. So it's a very nice element to explore. And the funny things that you see, we have 4 things. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is also the habit of the collective. We are pretty much take our mind too seriously, too much sometimes. And then we forget that we are not only mind, but we also body. And as a living human being or a living being, these two has to be there. We cannot have this without this. We cannot have this without this. So both of them has to be there at the same time. So sometimes we feel like, oh, we have physical problem. And in fact, sometimes we can ask the mind to help. And when we have the mind difficulty, we can ask the body to help, because they both interact. Every inches of our body has the mind. So they are one in one place. So I use the body as a reference because we can see our body. But every single mind is also in the body, such as like your stress. When you are stressful, that is not only the mind, but the body also get affected. When you get angry, it's not only the mind, but also the body get affected. Yeah. So this cannot be separate, and sometimes we think too much about the mind, and we see this 4 questions is all about the mind, and we think probably that we know the body much better than the mind. So in our practice here in Plum Village tradition, we like to invite everyone to start from the body. It is not a progression, body first and then the mind. But we practice with the body because it is much easier to perceive, because our eyes can see and we can touch, we can see the movement, etc. And we can use our body to help to bridge to the mind, because they are one. And we also have to slowly let go of the idea what mind is. Because sometimes we think my body is this, has a certain of limit, and my mind also have a certain of limit, which is the size of my body, yeah, which is not true. Because if I get angry, even I don't say anything, you will know it. Yeah. So it means it's outside of my body. It's not only in my body. So to perceive that the mind is like the water in the box is not very correct. So in order to respond to all of this, we need to have the basic. It's like if you want to make a carbonara, you want to make a pasta, the garlic and pepperoncino, you want to make spaghetti with bolognese. They're all pasta, right? They're all pasta. But you need to go, what is the basic for that? We need to see what is the basic of this recipe. So we have also all the mind. Suffering is also the mind. The emotional body is also the mind. The stress is also the mind. The consciousness is also the mind. So then we have to look, what is the main ingredient? What is the basic things? So whatever just say, all the pasta, the first we need to have is the wheat, right? To make a kind of dough, and maybe some, and we can shape it differently. We call it different names, which they all have the same ingredient. When it's long, you call it spaghetti. When it's spiral, you call it another things, etc., etc. So let's see. So let's say this base is the body. And with the body, we learn, because our body is also moving based on the mind. And in the meditation, our very first things that we learn to get in touch with is our breathing. Yeah. Because to get in touch with your breathing, you have to stop. You cannot just do something and know that you are breathing directly. So especially at the very beginning. So the activity of the breathing is the easiest, or is the things that is the most natural happening in every moment that we can perceive with the mind. So like this morning, breathing in, I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I'm breathing out. At that moment, the body and the mind are together. Your body is breathing and your mind is knowing that you are in breath and out breath. And then slowly, you also see that, my breath can change. Sometimes can be slow, sometimes can be fast, sometimes can be deep, sometimes can be shallow. And the breath also very much influenced to the body. When the breath become calm, the body also become calm. Yeah. So in the meditation, we call it stopping. Stopping in the present moment. And then we have look deeply. Look deeply is to know what is happening. For example, this morning, the last exercise, breathing in, I know I'm in the present moment. Breathing out, this moment is a wonderful moment. And when we say this moment is a wonderful moment, your mind has to work a little bit, right? To know why this is a wonderful moment. And you can find all kind of wonderful moments in the morning. The first wonderful moment is you wake up, you are not going to a meeting. Yeah? You wake up is to sit and doing nothing. That is the first thing. And the good things, the wonderful things is somebody in the kitchen is cooking our breakfast. You don't even have to cook your breakfast. So you even don't need to think, what should I eat this morning? So your job is just to rest in the present moment. Enjoy your in-breath and out-breath of doing nothing. It's the opposite of being stressed and doing so many things. So that moment is a wonderful moment, and you are the boss in that moment. To give permission to our body and our mind just to rest, to stay in the present moment. And we call this the two wings of meditation. They have to go along together. Yeah, it's not a progression. It's not you stop first and then you look deeply. Yeah, we have to do it together. And this is in Pali. It's called samadhi, and this is called vipassana. So this is called stopping, and this is called looking deeply. Stopping, it means you stop from anything else and you come back to your in-breath and out-breath. And then you discover what is the good things in the present moment. Sometimes I change the word a little bit to make it easier. So I use the word resting in something. And discovering something. Let's say your mind rests in your eyes. You have your in-breath and out-breath, and your mind rests in your eyes. And then suddenly you discover so many things. You discover that your eyes can still see. You just need to open. All the form and color is provided for you. Yeah. So discovering and resting in. So resting in your eyes, you discover so many things. Resting in your body, you discover so many things. When you are resting in your body, you know that, oh, this morning I just sit, I don't do anything in this moment. And you discover that you have no stress, you have nothing to do, you have no meeting, you have no project, you have nothing. You have only your body and sitting in the present moment. And the purpose of these two is to cultivate understanding. To cultivate understanding, when we understand, we feel safe. When we feel understand, or when you feel understood, you also feel loved, you feel safe, you feel calm, you feel at peace. Yeah. So when we practice more, it means we stop more and we rest in something more. And then, of course, we can get in touch with more suffering. Because this suffering maybe have been there for a very long time that we don't have time to get in touch with. Because in the past, our mind, our body can be here. Our mind can be somewhere else. And sometimes our happiness is based on something that we don't even know what is that, but we run after one thing after another. So this is very normal. That can happen when we practice more, we stop more, we rest more in something, and then we understand that we have this, or surrounding us has this. And therefore we don't need to be carried away by that suffering. To know does not mean that I have to be carried away by the suffering. As this, the body and the mind interact, the stopping and the looking deeply interact. So suffering and happiness should interact too. So when we practice and we get in touch more with suffering in the present moment, that is one thing. It means we also know that in the present moment there is a lot of good things that we have not get in touch with, that we can train ourselves to get in touch with. Because if we can discover the good things in the present moment, then it's easier for us to stay in the present moment. Our song, I have arrived, I'm home, in the here, in the now. I'm solid, I'm free. Yeah, in the ultimate I dwell. Only 3 lines. And I have arrived, I'm home is the very basic practice of Plum Village. And this is something not very easy. We think that I have arrived, I'm home. If I can be home, I will be fine. Of course, when you arrive home, you feel more safe than on the street. But it does not mean that you will feel comfortable at home if your home is in a mess. And sometimes when we come home, the home is in a mess, and we don't feel like want to stay at home, and we want to go out somewhere else to look for friends or doing something else rather than staying at home. And sometimes we find ourselves that at home we are feeling so lonely, alone, and sometimes we cannot bear being alone at home, and then we have to find something else to do and go somewhere else, either physically or mentally or with your phone. Yeah. So we do so much effort not to stay home because it's not pleasant. So the practice of I have arrived, I'm home actually is to make us solid and make us free. And make us solid, it means you are firm in the present moment because you have courage and you are able to be free to welcome and get in touch with anything. And that is something that we want to practice with, to train ourselves. So training, I have arrived, I'm home, can help us to overcome this. When we practice more and we have more, we realize more suffering, it means this is tell you that it's a good news that you discover more things in your life. So your life is just not what you think, but now you can see that there are some challenging here and there. But at the same time, we need to tell ourselves, if I am aware of the good things, I may have also another path, which is get in touch with more happiness. But it needs some trainings. Because in ourselves, we have something called, in the modern world, we call it defense mechanism. And this defense mechanism is something, in Buddhist psychology, we call it the lover. So inside of us, we have a lover. It's a part of the mind that want to make sure that you are safe, that you are happy, and it will against any suffering that come to us. So instead of understanding what suffering come to us, it against all suffering that come to us. So instead of try to understand what happened, or try to communicate what happened, it do another things. It bring you away, bring you running away from the problem, bringing you looking for something else to cover up the problem, so you don't have to face the problem. So you don't have to feel, I have arrived, I'm home, basically. So we have that part of the mind called the lover. And we want to calm that lover, to tell that lover that it's okay, you don't have to work too hard. I can do it too. I have my sovereignty and I have my agency to decide and to understand, because I have this capacity of looking deeply, of discovering things and to understand. So why the stress is very easy to be triggered is because of that lover. Yeah. And why we think so much also at the same time is because of the lover. The lover is forcing us to think every single moment, force us to think about the future, which is something it has not yet exist. And we try to think about it because we want to feel safe in the future. You want to anticipate all the things. But the funny thing is, that thing is not yet coming. Yeah. So basically, you can do planning in peace. We can do the planning of the future in peace because we know that it is not real yet. But it's good to have a planning and we see how it comes. Yeah. Instead of running after our planning and our project. The calculation on the paper can be good, but we don't have to force it to happen. We allow it to happen. So the training of walking slowly, coming back to our breath, relaxing our body, is a capacity for us to stay in the present moment and to know what is happening. Because if you know what is happening, then that lover can rest. I don't know if you understand me. Because we want to save our energy, that's why we ask this lover to do it for us. Please think for me. And then your head is turning. Because when you meditate, you cannot control that thinking, right? You cannot say, I don't want to think, and then your head stops. No, you cannot. And that lover is also something that cannot adapt to a new environment, new circumstances. It does not really familiar with. So it will react. So when you sit silently without your body movement, maybe the lover will get irritated a little bit because normally you are very active, you do so many things, and suddenly your body does not move, for example. And then the lover will make your body painful, will make your thinking so much, make you feel sleepy, and then you feel like, oh, I feel completely failed. But actually, it's just a reaction. So basically, we just need to come back to the present moment and just relax. And understand that in myself, there is some part that is not very happy with what I'm doing. Yeah. But knowing that if we discover more and more good things and give more information that present moment has a lot of things, then our lover can also rest, because then our lover does not have to look for happiness for us anymore. then it feels safe. It's like if you have a child and your child is happy and have everything he or she need, and they grow up, they study going well, then you feel at ease. You don't need to protect more. So this is the same. If we know how to find happiness in the present moment, more and more get trained, then our lover is also get relaxed. Then our thinking is also less reactive. Our anger also less reactive. Our suffering also less reactive. When we practice alone, we can practice that to arrive in the present moment, because that is the very basic trainings that we should do. So when we walk, if you walk alone, this is when you walk alone. So you can take in breath, you make one step, and make sure that you arrive. Breathing in and you breathing out, one step. We will practice this evening in the sitting meditation. And sometimes the body loses the balance because it against the habit. Because our habit is walking like this, fast. Yeah. So when you walk slow, your body get irritated. The lover get irritated because it's not used to it. But you do it because you have agency. You have sovereignty on yourself. When I get angry, I accept. So sometimes when we have like a strong emotion, the most difficult part is to accept that we have strong emotion, and that part is very scary because we are not used to it. The lover always gives us the good things only. Yeah. But it does not inbuilt in us to face unpleasant feeling. So when we feel anxious, it's very unpleasant. When we feel angry, it's very unpleasant, the body. When we feel fear, also the same. The body does not feel pleasant. So the lover will react. Yeah. When you feel anxious, the lover will react. It maybe ask you to look at your phone, maybe, so that you forget your anxiety. And when you get angry, maybe the lover also react, tell you, maybe you should say this to this person so that person can get hurt, so that your hurt is also, that person can feel what you feel. And then you say something very unkind, and you think that when you say something unkind, you will feel much better because that person will feel hurt too. Yeah. But in fact, after you shoot one arrow, you will maybe receive 3 arrows back. And then you receive 3, maybe I shoot 6. And this time that person will get more painful. Hopefully that person cannot reply anymore. But actually, it's back and forth like this. Never stop. Until both get wounded, completely wounded, because the numbers of the arrow is getting more and more. So we call it mindful anger. In living in the community, this happened a lot. We live together in the monastery. This happened a lot. It does not mean that we are not allowed to get angry, because we know now the anger is just the reaction of a lover. So when someone is angry, we know that that person is angry. And when I'm angry, I know that I'm angry. And sometimes if we start to have these back and forth things, we start to know that we are shooting the arrow to each other. And sometimes, okay, let's stop this. Let's us come back later. Yeah. Maybe I wait until my hand has flower, then we can start to talk. Then we throw the flower together. Yeah, it's okay, but not throw the arrow to each other. It's just a reaction of the lover. When the lover is calming down, then we can speak more freely. And this is pretty much related to the trauma, because our lover memorize everything, memorize every single painful feeling that we had in the past. And then out of blind love, our lover will protect us to all the circumstances that maybe reproduce the same situation in the past. It makes us feel not at ease in the present moment, because we have to continuously vigilant on our surrounding. And that vigilance is to protect us to not happen again from what happened in the past. But in fact, our training is the same, is to calm our lover, to bring our lover into the present moment. To say to my lover, for example, when I look at Irwin, I have to say to my lover, this is not my father, this is just another person. So I should not see him as my father, because if I see him as my father, maybe I have to protect a certain part of myself due to the past, for example. So I need to bring my lover to the present moment and tell my lover that in the present moment is a different scene. And it takes time to train the lover to calm down. And again, and we don't want to punish our lover too, because our lover is always do its best to make us happy. It's just, it has not enough information and understanding. So we need to practice this, to train together with our lover, to stay in the present moment and to look for the good condition. So this weekend is a very precious time for all of us to just stay, enjoy your weekend, rest in the present moment, enjoy the time. So the time that we have this weekend is not to spend. We are not trying to think, how can I spend the best out of it? So instead of spending time, we're just enjoying time, because the time is there. Enjoying the time. Don't spend the time. And don't waste the time too. Right? If you are there, you enjoy the time, then you don't waste the time. But if you want to spend the best out of it, just think about it, you already get stressful. Yeah. Then it becomes so hard to yourself, then your practice becomes very rigid, because you want to spend the best time out of it. But in fact, the best time is to enjoy the time, to live the time. And of course, what I'm sharing right now is the meditation. In terms of, let's say, trauma, it may be one of the way of the self-help. And self-help is not always working, because the size of the trauma we don't know, because it can be generational. It's not only from our life. So sometimes we need not only self-help, but we also need a collective help. So this is very important in Prompt tradition. We have a collective help. Sometimes we have to regulate our suffering. Sometimes we have to regulate our trauma by ourselves. But with the collective help, we may co-regulating. If I'm depressed, I can take refuge for those who are fresh. If I'm down, I can take refuge, get in touch with those who are up. If I forget that I have suffering, someone will remind me. Let's say if I feel like, now I get enlightened. Let's say I feel like I don't have suffering anymore. Yeah, for example. But if I have collective, if I live together with people, I start to see this person will trigger me this way and that person will trigger me that way. Then I can know very clearly that I'm not really enlightened actually. Then I still need to have to practice with that to calm my trauma from the past. And of course, if these two things still, the suffering overwhelm us, we still have to be very open for the other resources. We have to explore all resources that we have in the present moment. Like for example, nowadays we have a lot of trauma experts, and we should not, how you call it, to not reconsider their presence because they are a new element in our society. I'm not promoting trauma expert, but it can be one of the resources that we may use to explore our trauma, to understand more. If this and this does not really help, then we need to explore more than beyond these two. So sometimes if we meditate, if our mind is not open enough, we can feel like with meditation, everything should be fine. Yeah? Sometimes we have this kind of perception. But actually we have to open to all the things that may help us. Because if we're not open, then we cannot receive. Yeah? So I'm not in the yoga, so I cannot talk much about this. But of course, emotional is a kind of body. We have also, when we see this is, in Buddhism, we call it formation. We have body formation and we have mind formation. So our body is a collection of things come together, and our mind is also a collection of things come together. Yeah. And in Buddhism, in mind, we have at least 51 mental formation. Yeah, at least. We have more than that. Yeah. And in the mind, we have also a few kind of category. We have also feeling. We have also object of mind. And the last one is very interesting, which is consciousness. Yeah. So in terms of categories, if we want to categorize the mind, so we have consciousness, we have feeling, we have object of mind, and the other things, including anger, compassion, jealousy, tranquility, peace, happiness, they are all there. They are formed in our mind. Yeah. So this is a kind of like a how you call it, trailer. a trailer of all things. And for sure, this 1 hour may not make you understand the whole things, but at least it's open up that, oh, it's very various. So I have these 14 verses of meditation written by Thai. So this is more like, almost like his thesis on what meditation is. So this is the definition of meditation written in 14 verses. And I like this 14, the number 14. Supported by the Sangha body, which is the community collective, my practice flows easier, allowing me to swiftly realize my great determination to love and understand all beings. So, because in the Sangha, we have complete. We have people who trigger our suffering so that we have a chance to look at our suffering and to understand. But we also have people who can contribute so much positive energy in us that is there already, and it come out because we look at that person, that seed also get water, and it come out. And then the 13 is not discriminating between the practice offered by the Tathagata, which is the Buddha, and of the ancestor teacher. So we don't say the Buddha practice is better than the ancestor teachers who teach meditation. So both of them, they teach the same thing, because all the ancestor teacher, they also learn from the Buddha. The Four Noble Truths, perfectly interwoven, should serve as a foundation of an authentic transmission. So when we want to practice meditation, it's very important, if this is the teachings of the Buddha, they must have related to the Four Noble Truths, which is, it has to relate to these two things, which is involving suffering in our practice and also involving happiness in our practice. And they both inter-are. And in order to discover these two things and to practice with these two things, we have this basic resting and discovering. When we eat, it's also the same. We want to eat in a way that we rest in our food, not rest in our thinking. Because if we rest in our food, we can have a lot of gratitude to see how much water in a salad, inside the vegetable. And that water is from the ocean that has traveled so far until in that vegetable itself. So being here in the weekend, we can really enjoy our time. Let go all things, yeah. And sometimes, suffering, it just depends the matter of letting go. And sometimes when we look in the past, maybe I discover that my father or my mother make me suffer. So this is stopping and discovering. And I know very much what I can do actually is to release my suffering, is to forgive. Because when I discover, it's almost like I found my attachment. So I see that I'm holding my suffering from the past. And this is caused by my mother or my father. And what I need to learn is to open my arm, my hand, to open my fingers. In this case, is to open my heart. And if I can forgive and find a way to understand, I can just open my hand and my suffering will drop. It sounds very easy, but it needs a training for us to stay in the present moment. That is why The practice of I've arrived, I'm home is very important. To enjoy the moment is very important. And to let go expectation. So if you have expectation this weekend, you better let go. Just enjoy your time. You are here anyway. Everyone arrived already. Whether you still have a lot of work, it's fine. It's on Monday. Yeah? But now it's Saturday. So enjoy the present moment and practice letting go. If you start to hold again, Monday meeting, let go. Okay? And then you hold again, this Monday I will see my wife, let go. I have to deal with something on Monday, it's waiting for me. Okay, we can let go. Because today is Saturday, it's not Monday. And then when Monday comes, you are ready. Because you have 2 days of resting already. Yeah. Thank you for listening and enjoy your practice this weekend. We listen to the 3 sounds of the bell. So the class